If a man came into your life, wouldn't you want to compromise?
Stupid. A man comes into my life and I have to compromise? You must think about that one again.
In Hollywood, where fame and power intertwine with the dazzling glow of the spotlight, a dark truth lurks that few dare to confront. Countless talented black actresses have lost everything at the hands of white men. They entered this industry with dreams, with hopes of scaling the heights of stardom, only to have it all cruelly stripped away by white men, turning their lives into a prolonged tragedy. The 15 stories I'm about to share are stark examples of black actresses whose chances to shine were mercilessly crushed by the hands of white men. Watch this video to the end. You might find your view of the glamorous world of celebrity forever changed. 15. Sandre Edwards, a star extinguished under the brutal heel of a white villain. Hollywood, where radiant stars are endlessly adored, once welcomed Sandre Edwards, a promising black actress with roles in films like Hawaiian Eye and The Crowded Sky. She was a beacon of new hope, a woman of both talent and allure. But fate led her down a different path as her rising career came crashing down, all because of one white man. In 1961, with her career just beginning to bloom, Sandre Edwards joyfully married Tom Gilson, a white actor. Little did she know, this man would become a nightmare haunting the rest of her life. Tom, with his violent temper and alcoholism, quickly turned Sandre's existence into an inescapable tragedy. She endured not only physical abuse, but also mental torment, especially when she refused to hand over her hard-earned wages from her roles. On the night of October 6, 1962, horror unfolded. While staying at her sister's home in Van Nuys, California, with her 8-month-old son, Tom Gilson flew into an unprovoked rage. He attacked her, hurling insults and threatening to kill both her and the child. Everything crumbled. His brutal blows shattered her dreams of a happy family. In a panic, desperate to protect herself and her son, Sandre shot Tom dead in self-defense. The incident sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, plunging her career into an abyss. Hollywood, where powerful producers like Darryl F. Zanuck saw only risk, swiftly struck Sandre Edwards' name from every casting list and canceled all her contracts. Her life descended into darkness. Doors once wide open slammed shut, and in poverty, Sandre struggled to raise 2 children from a previous marriage. A glimmer of hope appeared in 1964 with a lucrative film contract offer. But the condition, sending her children to boarding school, was one she couldn't accept. That refusal snuffed out her final chance for a comeback. Her life faded into obscurity, marked by hardship and solitude. Until her death on June 2, 2017, Sandre Edwards never reclaimed her former glory. A talented woman, once Hollywood's brightest star, sank into a mire of darkness because of one man's cruel actions. Her career destroyed, her family broken, she lived her final years in shame, never returning to the place she deserved. 14. Billie Holiday, the legendary diva, devastated by envy and violence. Billie Holiday, one of the 20th century's greatest singers, shone with a voice full of raw power and emotion. She was not only a jazz icon, but also left her mark on the screen in New Orleans, 1947. Yet behind her radiant fame, Billie faced brutal challenges that snuffed out her illustrious career in an instant. It began in 1941 when Billie Holiday married Jimmy Monroe, an ambitious white man. No one could have foreseen that this decision would seal her fate. A storm of domestic violence and mental manipulation by Monroe remained hidden from the public eye. He not only abused her physically, but forced her into heroin use, weakening her voice and leading her into a spiral of disastrous choices. The more she performed for white audiences, the more Monroe's blind jealousy consumed him. He erupted in rage when she was admired, seeking every way to strip her of freedom. Billie's life ceased to be nights of passionate music, morphing into a bleak existence where physical pain mingled with mental anguish. After each performance, as the stage lights dimmed, she returned to an abusive husband, drugs, and a gnawing emptiness. The tragedy peaked in 1947 when a near-fatal beating landed Billie in the hospital. Monroe, impatient, committed a heinous act. He reported her drug use to the police, leading to a shocking arrest in Philadelphia. Her career plummeted. Convicted and imprisoned, she lost the right to perform at New York's famed jazz clubs, where she had once reigned as queen. Hollywood, where she was once beloved, turned its back. Doors closed, her career vanished. Ravaged by addiction and relentless stress, Billie couldn't recover. Sleepless nights and mornings dawned with a single wish: to live free. But hope never became reality. Billie Holiday died on July 17, 1959, at 44, in poverty with just 70 cents in her bank account. Meanwhile, the cruel Monroe continued managing other artists, unpunished. 13. Dorothy Dandridge, the Oscar queen crushed by a powerful man's vicious schemes. Dorothy Dandridge, the first black woman nominated for an Oscar, was a timeless icon of beauty and talent. She dazzled in Carmen Jones, 1954, a film that launched her to Hollywood's pinnacle. Yet few know that from her first steps in Hollywood, Dorothy battled relentless racism. She never backed down, and with Carmen Jones, she became the brightest star, even poised to win the Golden Statue. But instead of soaring, she fell into a quagmire due to dangerous relationships with white men who exploited her career and destroyed her life. Her first relationship with Carmen Jones director Otto Preminger seemed a solid stepping stone. Preminger, a powerful figure, promised to elevate her to new heights. But he manipulated her, controlling every move, from roles to her personal life. Dorothy was trapped in a suffocating spiral, living in Preminger's shadow. Every attempt to break free met with retaliation. He spread malicious rumors, causing studios to shy away from her. By 1959, after barely escaping Preminger, Dorothy entered another marriage with Jack Dennison, a white restaurateur. Initially, it seemed a fresh start, but her life sank deeper into misery. Dennison, whom she trusted, secretly drained her bank account for failed investments, plunging her into debt. Worse, he openly cheated, crushing her spirit. Everything crumbled beneath her. The press hounded her, vilifying her interracial relationship, tarnishing the image of a once radiant star. With these deep wounds, Dorothy sank into despair. Debt mounted, her career collapsed, her spirit shattered. With no way out, she chose to end it all. On September 8, 1965, Dorothy died of an overdose of sedatives in her West Hollywood apartment, leaving her young daughter orphaned and a brilliant career in ruins. Her image, once a shining star, became a heartbreaking tragedy, driven by the white men who crossed her path. 12. Diana Sands, the stage flame, snuffed out by a powerful man's cruel punishment. Diana Sands, a gifted black stage actress, captivated audiences with her role in A Raisin in the Sun, 1961, a landmark Broadway play. She was not only a rising star, but a symbol of strength and resilience for black women in the racist worlds of Hollywood and Broadway. Yet her career was cut short far sooner than expected. In 1964, Diana Sands made a bold choice, challenging the authority of Joseph Papp, the influential white producer of the Public Theater. During auditions for The Owl and the Pussycat, she demanded the lead role, a part free from the stereotypical maid roles Hollywood and Broadway often forced on black actresses. Diana refused to be a one-dimensional trope, but this decision altered her life forever. Papp, wielding immense power, not only dismissed her request, but flew into a rage, branding her a troublemaker. He banned her from major New York theater projects, freezing her career and making her rightful opportunities unattainable. The punishment didn't end there. Vicious rumors about Diana spread, fueled by Papp and other powerful white figures. They labeled her difficult to work with, causing Broadway directors and film producers to steer clear. Her Broadway roles vanished, and though she appeared in films like The Landlord, 1970, they weren't enough to salvage her career. Her life spiraled into a dark abyss of loneliness and oblivion. By 1972, tragedy struck again. Diagnosed with lung cancer, Diana lacked the income to afford treatment, a consequence of her shattered career. Abandoned and isolated, she lived in poverty. Losing everything, health, wealth, and career, Diana couldn't withstand life's harsh trials. On September 21, 1973, she passed away at 39, forgotten by the industry, while Joseph Papp continued to dominate Broadway with unchallenged power and prestige. 11. Josephine Baker, the Black, legend buried by a white journalist's malicious schemes. Josephine Baker, a legendary black star, dazzled not only with her vibrant performances in Paris, but stood as a symbol of courage in the fight against racism. In 1951, after years of success in France, Josephine returned to the U.S. hoping to challenge racial injustice and amplify black voices. But this became the darkest turning point of her life. At New York's Stork Club, she was refused service solely because of her skin color. What seemed a minor dispute exploded when Walter Winchell, a white journalist, seized the chance to viciously attack her. He branded her a traitor and even accused her of communism. Winchell's smear campaign triggered an FBI investigation, making Josephine a relentless target. Her efforts, status, and reputation in American entertainment were nearly erased overnight. The cost was staggering. Josephine was banned from performing at major U.S. theaters and lost lucrative film contracts, including Zuzu, 1934, one of her most iconic films. She fell into financial ruin, her assets seized to pay debts from lost income. Her Hollywood ties dissolved into thin air. Heart-heavy, Josephine fled back to France, struggling to support her 12 adopted children. Once a global icon, Josephine became a shadow of herself. Her former fame faded into memory. Life in France lost its former luster. Though she partially rebuilt her reputation in Europe, the wounds from America cut too deep. She never returned to Hollywood, never reclaimed her star status in the country she gave her all. Until her death on April 12, 1975, Josephine Baker's life remained a tragedy, scarred not only by racism, but by a world intolerant of difference. 10. Eartha Kitt, the Catwoman Queen, felled by presidential power. Eartha Kitt, iconic as Catwoman in Batman, 1967, was not just a stellar performer, but a symbol of independence, wielding rare talents in singing, dancing, and acting. Yet her dazzling career was shattered in a single historic moment when she dared to challenge President Lyndon B. Johnson, becoming the target of a brutal boycott. In January 1968, Eartha attended a White House dinner where the Vietnam War arose as a topic. With fearless candor, she criticized Johnson's policies, declaring that America's youth were dying in a senseless war. Her words were a bold slap to the administration, a powerful warning against the waste of lives in an unjust conflict. But few could have predicted that her truth would be met with a backlash the establishment couldn't tolerate. Furious at being publicly challenged, Johnson ordered the CIA to investigate her and orchestrate her exclusion from U.S. work. Articles penned by his allies branded her a troublemaker and traitor. A CIA file labeled her a national security threat. An unstoppable wave of opposition targeted her. Her career collapsed instantly. Banned from major U.S. theaters, she lost film and TV contracts, including a starring role in The Great White Hope, 1970, a project she'd pinned hopes on. Beyond losing work, Eartha was forced into exile. She fled to Paris, where life was a shadow of its former glory, living in a small apartment and struggling to support her daughter. Her reputation was smeared. Toxic articles and criticism turned the industry against her. She lost the career and stardom she'd fought a lifetime to achieve. Though she returned to the U.S. in the late 1970s, she never regained her former heights. Until her death on December 25, 2008, she lived under the shadow of that moment, never forgiven, never returning to the stages where she was once queen. Eartha Kitt paid dearly for speaking truth, a radiant star extinguished for daring to fight injustice. 9. Hazel Scott, the piano genius, crushed by the FBI chief's command. Hazel Scott, a brilliant pianist and actress, was a beacon of resilience in black entertainment. Known for her role in Rhapsody in Blue, 1945, she was among the few to conquer both stage and screen. But she became a victim of the Red Scare, an era when dissenting voices were silenced by fear and power. In 1950, as America's entertainment industry was steeped in brutal racism, Hazel refused to stay silent. She publicly condemned racial discrimination and refused to perform at venues exclusive to white stars. Her words were a cry from a defiant heart, a direct challenge to a system oppressing millions of black people. But Hazel couldn't foresee that this would put her in the crosshairs of J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI director. Hoover, with absolute power and extremist views, monitored civil rights activists and government critics. Hazel, a prominent and outspoken star, didn't escape his gaze. In 1950, her name was added to the FBI's blacklist, accused of communist ties without evidence. Hoover's influence was enough to ruin her life. He pressured Hollywood producers, forcing them to cancel her contracts, including The Hazel Scott Show, a rare TV program featuring a black woman. It was a knockout blow to her career. Losing her main income, Hazel sold her New York home, plummeting into poverty. Her piano performances were canceled, and public appearances nearly vanished. Her career sank into an abyss, and she spiraled into depression, seeing no light ahead. In 1952, she was hospitalized for mental health issues, a devastating setback for a once-celebrated figure. Though she later tried to recover, Hazel never regained her former glory. Until her death on October 2, 1981, she lived in financial hardship, forgotten, having lost everything she'd built. 8. Fredi Washington. The radiant star destroyed for her loyalty to black identity. Fredi Washington, a rising star of 1930s Hollywood, became an icon of black rights advocacy with her role as Beulah in Imitation of Life, 1934. She not only left a profound mark, but paved the way for other black actors in the industry. Yet her life and career soon plunged into bitter tragedy, all for refusing to sacrifice her identity. In 1933, after Imitation of Life's resounding success, Fredi became a sought-after name in Hollywood. But at the peak of her career, an offer from Louis B. Mayer, MGM's powerful mogul, changed everything. Mayer demanded she pass as white to land leading roles in major films. It seemed a golden opportunity, but Fredi, with pride and resolve, refused. She affirmed her black identity, unwilling to sacrifice it to meet others' demands. Mayer's response was swift and severe. Furious, he banned her from lead roles, relegating her to minor parts or barring her from casting altogether. It was a fatal blow to her career. Though Fredi persisted in films, Mayer's power extinguished her prospects. By 1937, still standing firm, she faced Mayer's ultimate retaliation. He terminated her MGM contract and spread rumors that she was too arrogant, turning directors and producers against her. Fredi lost everything. Her film career stalled, forcing her to leave Hollywood for Harlem, where she worked in small theaters for meager pay. To survive, she took jobs far from her passion, like secretarial work or cleaning. Hardship followed, and the star who once shone brightly became a forgotten name. Hollywood, where she was once a star, abandoned her, while Mayer continued to dominate the industry. Until her death on June 28, 1994, Fredi sacrificed everything to protect her identity and dignity, fading into obscurity in the industry she gave her youth to. 7. Juanita Moore, the talented actress oppressed by a white director's pressure. Juanita Moore, a gifted black actress with a standout supporting role in Imitation of Life, 1959, was one of the brightest faces of 1950s Hollywood. Her emotive acting made her an icon of overcoming prejudice. Yet no one could have predicted that her brilliant career would be deeply scarred by the decisions of powerful white director John M. Stahl, who crushed her dreams and plunged her into years of suffering. In 1958, while working on Imitation of Life, a film that became a milestone in her career, Juanita was cast as Annie, a black mother steeped in stereotype, a woman who only sacrifices for her child, simple and one-dimensional. With her immense talent, Juanita wanted the character to be richer, reflecting the true complexity of a mother. But her suggestion met fierce resistance from Stahl. The director not only rejected her ideas, but threatened to fire her if she persisted. To punish her resolve, Stahl spread word that she was a difficult actress, isolating her in the industry. When Imitation of Life soared to success, instead of earning deserved opportunities, Juanita was pushed out of the spotlight. Producers and directors, swayed by Stahl, refused to cast her in leading roles, limiting her to small parts and stripping her of the chance to shine. Though Juanita worked tirelessly, her income dwindled. Without major contracts, she took odd jobs to support her family. By 1965, she sold her home to pay debts. A star was robbed of everything for refusing to yield to a powerful white man's demands. Despite an Oscar nomination and acclaim for her talent, Juanita Moore never escaped the shadow of the stereotypical role Stahl forced upon her. Her life stands as stark proof of the cruelty of power and racism in an industry where black people fought not just for careers, but for their very identities. 6. Ruby Dee, the Civil Rights Torch. Extinguished by a vicious plot. Ruby Dee, one of Hollywood's most prominent black actresses, left an indelible mark with her role in A Raisin in the Sun, 1961. She was not only a film star but a civil rights icon, a powerful voice for black equality in a racist era. Yet her life was marred by relentless attacks from authorities, turning her brilliant career into a bitter tragedy. In 1950, as Ruby Dee and her husband, Ossie Davis, actively joined civil rights movements and fought for racial equality, they couldn't foresee the dark spiral awaiting them. J. Parnell Thomas, chairman of the House Un-American Activities Committee, SUAC, notorious for hunting suspected communists, targeted Ruby. He accused her of communist sympathies without evidence, placing her on USC's blacklist, effectively boycotting her from the entertainment industry. Ruby lost access to major film projects. Contracts for films like The Jackie Robinson Story, 1950, were canceled, and she was barred from Broadway. The doors she'd opened slammed shut, her career achievements dissolving into nothing. With her husband, Ruby left Hollywood's glamour for a small Harlem apartment, taking menial jobs, waitressing, even manual labor, to survive. The industry turned its back, with directors fearing repercussions and refusing collaboration. Her talent was overlooked simply for demanding black rights. The loss was immense, not just professionally, but in her faith in a system she'd given her heart to. Years of boycotts plunged Ruby into prolonged depression. Financial strain and society's rejection nearly broke her. Her life became a string of dark days, and by the mid-1950s, she still hadn't found light. Though she later partially recovered, the scars of exclusion and racism lingered in her career and mind. Ruby Dee died on June 11, 2014, leaving a tragic story of a black woman who dared fight injustice but paid a crushing price for her ideals. Her life reminds us of power's cruelty and how the system can crush shining stars who refuse to bow. 5. Beah Richards, the Civil Rights Warrior. Crushed by the FBI's leader. Beah Richards, a passionate and talented actress, made history with her role in Take a Giant Step, 1959, and numerous acclaimed stage performances. She was not only a star, but a warrior for civil rights, boldly speaking out against America's injustices. Yet the cost of her fight was her entire career. In the Yamanmar 1950s, as Bee joined civil rights movements, wrote anti-racist plays, and championed black rights, she couldn't foresee that her actions would lead to her career's boycott. J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI director leading the Red Scare, targeted her. He accused her of communist ties without proof, making her a hunted figure and destroying her reputation. With his vast power, Hoover pressured Hollywood producers and directors, causing Bea to lose promising film contracts. Opportunities she deserved slipped away because she dared defend her ideals. In 1953, after Hoover sent a threatening letter to an off-Broadway producer, Beah was denied a lead role, marking a dark turning point. Opportunities vanished, her bright future fading. Shunned and excluded, no one in the industry would work with her. Hollywood turned its back on a talent that should have been celebrated. From a promising star, Beah Richards fell into failure, poverty, and isolation. She took menial jobs, waitressing, cleaning, to survive while caring for her elderly mother in Los Angeles. Depression's shadow loomed. After years of abandonment, she landed a small role in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, 1967. But the years of boycott and oblivion left scars too deep to heal. Opportunities passed, and for Beah, it was too late to become the star she dreamed of. 4. Teresa Harris. The cinematic flame snuffed out by Hollywood's racist curse. Teresa Harris was a radiant star of the 1930s. Her role in Babyface, 1933, captivated audiences, establishing her as a symbol of allure. Yet her life and career were no fairy tale, as she paid a steep price for refusing to stay silent against racism in entertainment. In 1933, when Teresa requested a chance at a romantic lead role, she couldn't imagine her simple plea would unleash a storm that destroyed her career. Darryl F. Zanuck, the mogul of 20th Century Fox, rejected her not for her talent, but her skin color. "Your color doesn't suit white audiences," he said, as if that justified his stance. Offended and determined to prove herself, Teresa didn't yield. She pushed for more complex roles, but instead of recognition, she faced cruelty. Furious at her defiance, Zanuck punished her by casting her only in nameless supporting roles, maids or background singers in films like Jezebel, 1938. He spread rumors that she was a troublemaker on set, scaring off other directors. Teresa became a ghost in the industry, boycotted and unable to showcase her talent. Her acting dreams flickered out before her eyes. As her career faded, Teresa faced harsh reality. No longer a big-screen star, she took manual jobs, even sewing, to survive. She lived in a small Los Angeles apartment, battling poverty and hypertension from prolonged stress. The industry abandoned her, and her personal life offered little solace. Poverty and loneliness persisted until Teresa Harris died on October 8, 1985, forgotten by the industry she'd so bombastically devoted herself to. Once celebrated, she was left as a faded star, her roles and sacrifices buried in the darkness of racism and power. 3. Nina Mae McKinney, the cinematic legend, cast aside by an MGM mogul's ambition. Nina Mae McKinney, the first black star to sign with MGM, rose as a sensation with her role in Hallelujah, 1929. She was a pride of the film industry, but in that glamorous world, she paid a devastating price for her grand dreams. After Hallelujah's triumph, Nina was promised stardom in Hollywood. But those promises were a cunning trap set by MGM mogul Louis B. Mayer. Despite being the first black star signed to a major studio, Nina faced Hollywood's harsh racial standards. Mayer forced her into stereotypical roles, maids or dancers, she didn't want. Though she repeatedly protested, demanding deeper roles, Mayer saw her as a tool. Challenged by a black woman daring to ask for more, he resolved to crush her prospects. In 1931, Mayer terminated Nina's 5-year contract and ordered MGM directors never to work with her. Every opportunity, every lucrative deal vanished overnight. Rumors spread that she was too demanding, ungrateful for small roles. Her career was not only halted, but erased from Hollywood's memory. With no place in America, Nina Mae McKinney performed in small European clubs, where her fame held little value. Those days were a struggle, with unstable income and an unsteady life. No longer MGM's celebrated star, she was an artist scraping by night after night. In 1935, debt-ridden and disillusioned, Nina returned to the U.S. But Hollywood had no room for her. She lived in poverty in Harlem, taking part-time jobs, even bartending, as her once storied name faded. Nina Mae McKinney died on May 3, 1967, at 56, in solitude and poverty, her initial stardom never returning. 2. Abbey Lincoln. The dual diva buried by Hollywood's political curse. Abbey Lincoln, a standout star as both singer and actress, left her mark in films like The Girl Can't Help It, 1956, and with soulful musical performances. Her fame rested not only on talent, but as a symbol of anti-racism advocacy. Yet her steadfast principles came at a steep cost. In 1960, Abbey faced a career crossroads when invited to audition for Maria in West Side Story, a dream role for any actress. But she couldn't accept being a model for a part that demanded she compromise her beliefs. During casting, she was asked to tone down her civil rights activism, including her and husband Max Roach's fiery speeches against racism. With unwavering conviction, Abbey refused to stay silent. The situation escalated when director Robert Wise cut her from the role. Natalie Wood, a white actress, was chosen instead. The decision wasn't random. In Hollywood, those who defied power paid a price. Wise not only removed Abbey, but spread word that she was uncontrollable and too political. These claims damaged her reputation, turning other directors against her. Abbey Lincoln's career stalled. Major opportunities vanished, roles she deserved given to others. A once rising star became a forgotten name. To survive, Abbey relied on sparse jazz gigs. By 1964, her situation worsened. Financial hardship forced her to sell her Chicago home and move to a small rented Los Angeles apartment. Her life sank into poverty, wrapped in struggle. Though she later returned to music, her former glory never returned. Abbey Lincoln, a once blazing star, faded into a shadow in the film industry, a vivid testament to the cost of fighting for justice. 1. Ruby Dandridge, the cinematic torch. Extinguished by a powerful white director's cruelty. Ruby Dandridge, a supporting star in The Little Colonel, 1935, and mother to legend Dorothy Dandridge, possessed radiant beauty and promising acting talent. Yet she was confined to lackluster roles, often maids, never allowed to shine as she wished. Her life was a dream crushed under the weight of racism, power, and empty promises. In 1935, when cast in a supporting role in The Little Colonel, Ruby thought she'd achieved a career breakthrough, but it marked the start of a prolonged tragedy. Unwilling to be boxed into a bland character, Ruby boldly asked director Mervyn LeRoy to give her role more depth and personality. But Leroy, with the arrogance of a powerful white mogul, flatly refused. He not only rejected script changes, but threatened to cut her role if she didn't comply. This refusal was a direct blow, thrusting Ruby into a dark path she couldn't escape. Soon after, LeRoy relegated her to dull supporting roles, maids or fleeting parts in films like A Day at the Races, 1937. Despite her talent, she was denied chances to shine. Leroy even spread lies to other producers, claiming Ruby lacked talent for lead roles. Every major opportunity slipped through her fingers, leaving only trivial parts. Cornered, Ruby survived on menial jobs, cleaning, cooking, and raising her family. Her Hollywood dreams became unreachable. The stardom, the lead roles she envisioned, faded into distant memories. Ruby lived in poverty in Los Angeles, overshadowed by a racist, indifferent industry. For the rest of her life, Ruby Dandridge never regained the opportunities she deserved. She died on October 17, 1987, in poverty, her death uncelebrated, her life forgotten by the Hollywood she served devotedly. These black actresses' stories are not just personal tragedies, but proof of the pain hidden behind Hollywood's glamour. They were left behind, denied, destroyed by white men controlling their fates. The injustices and humiliations they endured might fade into oblivion if we don't uncover them. If you feel these women's stories deserve to be told, to expose the dark side of celebrity, share your thoughts, hit the share button, and subscribe now. Thank you for joining in, unveiling the harsh truth many dare not face.